Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. And he's here yet again in the co-captain's chair, Mr. Grant Arthur from Grant's Rock Warehouse and the Contrarians. What's up, my friend?
Hey, nice to see you. Glad to be here. I'm pretty excited about today's discussion, to be quite honest.
Yes. So Grant and I, many months ago, were chit-chatting, I think, about Styx, and we both were talking about how much we love Tommy Shaw. And then Grant was talking about the Shaw Blades albums, and we kind of talked about the solo records. And we said, at some point we should rank the Tommy Shaw solo albums, right? So here we fast forward a couple months, and a couple weeks ago, we're like, all right, we should get back around to Tommy Shaw. So we said, all right, should we throw in the Shaw Blades albums? We said, yeah, but really we're only going to throw in one of them because the other's a covers album. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then at the last minute, I was like, why don't we just throw the Damn Yankees albums in here so we can make it have a little meat on the bones?
Mhm.
So that's what we're doing. So we got 8 albums, two Damn Yankees, one Shaw Blades, 5 Tommy solos, and want to tell everybody we love Tommy Shaw. We really do.
Oh, I love Tommy Shaw.
Yeah.
When I was 13, and my teacher, I probably told this story, but was it eighth grade? I don't know. I can't remember. But in art class, she was playing the Grand Illusion album. And she was showing the class the cover, how cool it was, like a collage kind of, it's an art thing. And she was playing that record in class, and I just was like, one of those moments. Holy crap, what is this?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything like this. And I totally loved it. And I'm looking at it, and looking at the cover, and I'm looking at Tommy Shaw and go, God damn, that guy's cool looking. And I don't know. I just was captivated by Tommy Shaw. Call me a Tommy Shaw fanboy if you want.
Nothing
But
wrong with that, right?
but look at this. Crystal Ball, Shoes, Mademoiselle, The Grand Illusion. Look at the guitar solo in The Grand Illusion. The first guitar solo is Tommy Shaw's solo. You show me a better guitar solo on the planet. That is, as a player, singer, songwriter, Tommy Shaw is everything. But that first lead guitar break, killer.
Yeah, it's great.
Fooling Yourself is great. Man in the Wilderness. Look at the guitar lick on that. But that 70s Tommy Shaw is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And it
Because
probably
he was that young, hungry lion, right? That just kind of all of a sudden got thrust into this band on the rise and helped take them to the stratosphere, right? That's kind of what happened.
That's what they needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but his work in Styx is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you get that kind of in your brain because all through the catalog, okay, you might look at something later like I don't know, Never Say Never or Boat on the River seems kind of light, but you hear those songs and then you hear something else down the road in his catalog, you know, it's kind of what Tommy Shaw is. Um, haven't we been here before? Just Get Through the Night. Don't mention these songs in front of Martin. He'll go through the atmosphere, go through something may happen. Do you ever see that show where we talked about Kilroy? He gave it a zero.
No,
He gave it a 0
really.
out of 10. He was on fire on that show. Anyway, check that out
I
in the
will, yeah.
Contrarians link, everybody, to see Martin Popoff's review on Kilroy was here.
Yeah, I
But
know
anyway,
he's not a really big Styx fan.
oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is the Tommy Shaw catalog and Styx, phenomenal. Now, like you said, we're going to look at the catalog, and I don't know. You go, Pete. I told you I'm going to be rambling today because I'm just all worked up. So
Yeah, I will come out and say it right now. We both just basically said we're huge Tommy Shaw fans and Styx. I've had a hard time with his solo catalog for many, many years because I think there are expectations there. We have to go back to when Tommy went solo and left Styx because that was a weird time for music in general, and especially that band Styx, right? So there's this kind of power play between him and Dennis DeYoung, right? That's kind of what was going on. And obviously Tommy was like, all right, I'm out of here, whatever. And there's no right or wrong here. It's just, bands go through this kind of stuff. It's just what happens. But I always felt in Styx that Tommy Shaw, along with JY, was the rocker, but Tommy had a very strong pop sensibility. Right? He was kind of the jack of all trades. He could do it all. So I always expected something different from these solo albums. But again, these solo albums started coming out in the mid 80s. Weird time period for 70s rockers, right? And not all of them got it right when they went solo or started doing other things. So I think you kind of have to look at these albums with a different perspective and kind of they were a product of their times, but they haven't, to me, held up very well, which is I'm sure we're going to talk about. And then you throw in Damn Yankees, where Tommy's back in a group situation, did a little different results, right? And then you have the Shaw Blades thing, which is him and one of his cohorts from the Damn Yankees doing something different. So there's all sorts of different stuff here. And when the last like week and a half kind of going through all these albums and re-listening to this stuff, I was like, wow, this is a challenge for a guy that we really love a lot, right?
Well, and if I come off as being brutal, I don't mean to. It's because I love Tommy Shaw. Now, when he left Styx, Kilroy Was Here was the last record.
Yep.
Okay. He left. We have a couple years in between. And you've seen them talk about how they hated Kilroy. Horrible. It's hideous. Oh my God. Babe. They go through, Tommy and JY go through how they hate Babe and they hate all that pop stuff. Okay. When I thought, oh, wow, Tommy's out of the band, we're going to get Tommy Shaw is going to go back and kick ass and rock. We get Girls with Guns, which is a pop record.
Yeah.
Synthesizer pop record, drum machines, gated drums, commercial. It is more commercial than Kilroy Was Here.
Oh, big time.
Kilroy Was Here looks like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Okay. I was really let down. And it took me a while to come back around. But there's a lot in the catalog that is good. The 80s, I don't think were so good for Mr. Shaw. But the rest of his career, I think we're going to talk about. Let's just do it, Pete. I could go on forever, but I've said my piece. And if I come off as being brutal, I don't mean to. But he kind of let me down a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so let's so we got 8 albums in total we're going to talk about here today. Like I said, 5 Tommy solo, 1 Shaw Blades album, 2 Damn Yankees. We'll do 2 at a time. So Grant, let's hear 8 and 7.
Okay, my 8. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is not a good era for Tommy. I appreciate that Tommy's out there. I appreciate Tommy's out there playing, making music, collaborating with people. I like it. But the 80s was not good for Tommy. I don't think Tommy knew exactly what to do. My number 8 is going to be Ambition. This was the Atlantic album. This went straight to the cutout bins, everybody. Well, all the 80s albums did. He produced this with Terry Thomas. If you know the band Charlie, he was in the band Charlie. That's probably another band no one talks about. No. And probably when this came out, everybody went, Terry who? I'm just saying. Full of synthesizers, full of sequencers, full of drum machines, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing is that this is very bombastic. It's very overproduced. It's like when you get to that stage in someone's career and you're really trying to get a hit. You were on 2 labels before, A&M gave him a shot with 2 records. This is on Atlantic. All right, we got another shot, but he's trying to get that hit. It doesn't happen. Basically this album, well, let's look at the first song real quick to give you an idea what it sounds like. No Such Thing sounds more like Bon Jovi to me. Actually, Pete, it sounds like Robert Palmer or the Power Station. It sounds very much like Addicted to Love. So this
kind of rocks though, right? It gives you this false impression. It's like, yes, all right.
It's very slick, very polished, very commercial. There's no soul here. This ain't no Blue Collar Man, if you know what I'm picking up and I'm putting down. Dangerous Game, more of the same, sounds like Survivor. And I know we get on these shows, we talk about these bands, and why do I always bring up Survivor? Survivor must be one of the greatest bands ever in the 80s because I always reference them.
But they had a formula, right? And everybody
but he
wanted to
copied it
replicate that formula.
because
That's
it
the sad
was
truth. Whether you like Survivor or not, they sold a lot of records and had a lot of hits. That's plain and simple.
a dangerous game. Big background vocals, bombastic slickness is what I wrote down. Weight of the world, the next track. Crank up those drum machines, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Tommy Shaw is one hell of a songwriter. Where are the songs on this album? Where are the songs? I don't have any songs. I don't have anything here that makes me want to go, oh, yeah, that's it. Nothing here. Ambition doesn't sound like Tommy Shaw, but the song's not too bad. So the title track, I'm giving it a pass because it's a decent song. Ever since the world began, last song on the first side. Now we really do get a Survivor song. This is a Jim Peterick and Frankie Sullivan. We really do have
Pretty
Survivor.
much, yeah.
Now, Tommy is such a good songwriter. Why do we have a Survivor song on this
There's no
record?
need for it.
There's no need. I could go on. I think everyone understands what I'm talking about. Is this a horrible record? No, but it's not up to the levels that, I'm sorry, he achieved such a high level within Styx.
You said it right there. There's
Uh,
no mediocrity in his stuff within that band. That's why this catalog is such a conundrum, right?
I'm disappointed. Now, if you like really commercial 80s music and you don't know anything about the great Tommy Shaw, maybe you'll dig this. But it's very commercial. I hadn't listened to this for a long time. And, we've talked about this when we do these things because we're listening to all these records all over again together. And when you do that, it really opens your eyes to stuff. Because a lot of times we're not sitting here looking at the whole catalog of somebody all
No,
the time.
you listen to this and you listen to that. Yeah, exactly.
This really opens things up. So, yeah, that has to be my number 8. Okay, my number 7. If you understood what I said with my number 8, you're going to get the same thing with my number 7, and it's What If. Richie Kanata is producer. He's a saxophone player from Billy Joel. Okay, I'm good with that. Tommy co-produced this. This I don't even think charted on the charts. This at least got up to like number 87 on the Billboard charts. Okay, it's all right. He's basically using the same band that he uses on the Girls with Guns album. So it's more of the same. But there are a couple of songs on here that I really do like. I will say that because it's at least a great song. There were 2 singles, Romeo's Theme, What If, that came out September of 85, and Jealousy that came out in 85. Both didn't do anything. Both are slick, slathered in synths, gated drums. It's not too far from this. This is just even more to the extreme. Jealousy opens it. It's not, this record's a little bit more subdued. Let's say that. Girls with Guns is very upbeat, very poppy, very poppy. Let's just leave it at that. This is a little bit more subdued. Jealousy literally picks up from where Girls with Guns left off. And even though I haven't talked about that yet, we will get to that. And I'm sure Pete will get to that. You got a lot of background singers on this record too.
Yeah.
I'm going, what in the going on here? Are we trying to out Dennis? Is there like a battle going on behind the scenes between Tommy and Dennis and who can outdo each other? What I'm trying to say is that there's some good songs on here, but it's not Tommy Shaw. I think we're in some kind of war. I don't know. But I'm going to give you this, Pete. Romeo's Theme, What If? I love this track.
That's
It's
pretty catchy.
upbeat, catchy, almost power pop feel. It's better than anything that's on Girls with Guns. Yeah, it's commercial. The digital drums on it make me want to vomit, but it's Tommy writing good song. I'm good. I like it. Reach for the bottle. Look, we're writing a song about alcoholism. You wouldn't touch this kind of subject on Girls with Guns, but here, like I said, this album's a lot more not quite as happy-go-lucky. but it's an okay song. It's very synth based, very low key. But you have to admit, on this record and on Ambition, Tommy Shaw as a singer, darn it, Pete, nails it on every song he sings.
Oh yeah, yeah. I will say he sounds great on all these albums from a vocal perspective. That's not the issue at all.
One of the greatest singers in rock and roll, and you have to hand it to him. His voice still sounds strong. He
Yeah,
has not lost anything.
yeah.
Brilliant. All right. I could keep going, but I'm going to blab, blab, blab. You kind of get what I'm saying. These two are very similar. This is just a little bit more subdued than this, but at least we've got a couple of songs on What If that I think are pretty good. Um, I could keep going, but it's more of the same. I'd rather keep it moving and let's hear it from you.
Got more to come, right? Yeah,
There's more to come, but hey, we're getting better, ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen. So,
So, we've been talking and kind of crapping a little bit on the 80s sound with some of these records, but I don't think Tommy is just guilty of putting out subpar stuff in the 80s. My number 8 is 2011's The Great Divide.
oh no.
Tommy Goes Bluegrass.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know,
I rank that a bit higher,
I was,
but I'll have my reasons. Go
right.
ahead.
Well, that's the important thing. I personally don't like bluegrass.
Okay, well, okay.
Therein lies a major problem. I think this is well done, and Tommy sounds great, but
Mhm.
it's so far out of my wheelhouse that to me it's like unlistenable. Like The Next Right Thing, that's pretty catchy. I can see that it's got those Tommy harmonies that we love. There's banjo and fiddle and mandolin and
Dobro.
dobro and acoustic guitar all over the place. It's just like, and they'll do short little songs, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, this just isn't for me.
Okay.
This is the anti Pete Pardo album right here. I tell you what though, I give him a lot of kudos for doing something like this. Did this sell at all? I don't even know. It's like, because that's the hard thing. Even if you're trying to promote this towards that audience, there it is right there.
Yeah, sorry, I should have had that up. Yeah, this is on it looks like this came out on Fontana. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Um no, but I don't think this got a big push or anything. It just kind of came
That's the
out
thing. Even
and
if you're gonna promote it to the bluegrass community, here you have a
yeah.
rocker who's doing bluegrass. It's not gonna be taken seriously. That's the problem, right? It's a
Well,
hard thing to
the
do.
way I look at it is that this is really what Tommy Shaw's about.
That
He's
was
from Alabama. This is what he was
he's
raised with. The guy can play anything you throw in his hands, mandolin, dobro. And if you listen, okay, I have to listen to this album purely as a musician standpoint. And if you want some good picking,
oh, there's
there's some
plenty of
good picking. And Tommy Shaw as a picker, see
it.
how I'm using those terms? Is hot shit. And he's got a lot of great players on here. Bluegrass players that are well established in the community. Get a little bit of Alison Krauss on here.
Yep, she's on there. Yep.
But I think this is really what Tommy Shaw's about.
You could be
Yeah,
right.
he can rock and all that, but him doing this, he seems so
And that was
natural.
13 years ago. I'm surprised he didn't do something else like this again, right? Or maybe just because it was such a failure. I don't know.
But look, Pete, how often does he put out a solo album?
Yeah, he
Hardly
doesn't.
ever.
Yeah, it's not that often. He's touring 300 days a year with Sticks, right? So it's kind of hard to do that. So yeah,
But
so
there you
that
go.
that was
That was my spiel on it. But
all right. Well, that's my number 8 by default. I mean, like I said, for what it is, it's well done. It's just not for me at all.
fair.
My number 7 is What If, the second album. Yeah, I mean everything is said there. It's so overproduced. My God, it's almost like you get fatigued trying to get through this album. And there's some good stuff here, I think, but it's just like buried between and behind this wall of synths and horrible drum sounds. And God, there's just not enough guitar. I mean, like Jealousy, I think is a really good song. Good female backing vocals. You got a screaming sax solo, but man, I want to hear him playing guitar on it a little bit.
Where's the guitar at?
There's no
Where
guitar.
is it?
Jesus. Remo's theme, What If, is pretty catchy. I like that. Reach for the Bottle, that's pretty good. Friendly Advice, that's so 80s cheese. The
Yeah.
drums are terrible, the synths sound terrible. Uh See Me Now is like so saccharine sweet. I think the chorus is really good, but just it's the overproduction is just like it just like like a headache. It's just crazy. And then the song Bad Times.
Mhm.
Was he trying to be? Boss Gags on this? It
No,
literally
it sounds like Bruce Springsteen to me.
you could either one of them, any like US
It
Americana
doesn't
guy.
it doesn't fit on the record at all.
No, it doesn't fit at all. Doesn't fit at all. I don't know. For me, there's a couple of halfway decent songs on here, but it's just most of it's just kind of terrible and just like bland.
Let me ask you a question real quick about this record. Now we're backpedaling, but Count on You, 6 minutes, a long ballad. What is the difference between Count on You and Babe?
Not a lot.
I
Yeah,
don't get it.
it's very hypocritical, right? It
It's
really is.
very hypocritical.
Yeah, it really is. And how much of that is the record company kind of beating down on him, saying this is what you got to do, or is this what he really wanted to do? Because that's not what he was saying a couple of years
This
before.
makes me think of something. I'm going to throw something out to you. Tim Bonus and Stephen Wilson do a podcast, and I don't know. They don't put it out all the time, but they're right now they were just looking at 1985, and they mentioned the Pete Townsend solo album. What's the one? Oh, 86. Oh, shoot.
All Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes.
No, after
White City.
White City. Okay. You've got Pete Townsend on there, but you've got a lot of gated drums. You got a lot of synths. It's 1985. And um, Wilson was going, well, how much do you think Pete really had to do with that? Or do you think it was the record companies making these guys use the Yamaha DX7s, using the gated drums, using all this technology? Because really, do you think Tommy is really going to run out of the gate and go, you know what? Let's get the DX7 out and let's get the drum machine out. I'm
He
always under the
he
impression
doesn't
that he was a
seem to be
rock.
that guy. He to me to get back to the Townsend thing because I just got done reading his autobiography not that long ago.
Okay.
Pete was building that big studio and getting all this equipment in there. So I think Pete was embracing all that stuff. I have a hard time thinking that Tommy Shaw was that kind of guy. I don't it just doesn't seem like him. We haven't really seen anything else throughout his career that led me to think here's a guy who's going to amass all this new technology and get away from him as the true right, even him as the true bluegrass country Nashville kind of guy, right?
Mhm.
That's the antithesis of that. So I don't see him as being that guy. That's got to be a record label thing. Has to be.
Well,
That's
that's kind of
my
what
thing.
Stephen Wilson was getting at is
Okay,
that,
well that makes sense then. Yeah,
I think a lot of these record companies said, this is what's big. All right, Tommy, we'll give you a contract.
true. Yeah.
We'll sign you. You can take a break after Kilroy. That's fine. Take a break. We'll give you a couple album deal, but hey, they're probably pulling the strings. I don't know. I just find it hard that this is Tommy Shaw.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, that was an excursion, but really, I'm curious what the people think in the comments about that. Because do you think more of the record companies got involved with all these bands at the time and we're just going, you've got to sound like this? And, consider Tommy. He's considered a 70s act. Styx is a 70s act.
Yeah.
Not all these people could make the transition. Hart made the transition, and I'm not saying it was good or bad, mostly bad. And look at what happened to Cheap Trick, for God's sakes. Epic killed Cheap Trick with that crap that they did to them.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm thinking the
I-
record label is probably thinking, all right, we got Tommy Shaw signed. We know he's kind of like a heartthrob to the ladies, right? Good looking guy, great voice, the long blonde hair, good songwriter, good singer. We want him being played on the radio and we want him on TV.
yeah.
It's like a no-brainer when you think about it, based
Well,
on
look,
what we
cut
know
his
of the
hair
game.
all off. It's all back.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous,
It
right?
looks
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, he looks okay here, but come
Yeah.
on. I want my Tommy Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
for
just saying.
sure.
All right. Went on a tangent, but I think we're here talking music, ladies and
We're
gentlemen.
talking music. We're talking as always.
That's all we're doing.
All right, 6 and 5. I'm curious to see how the rest of this plays out.
Well, did you do both?
Yeah, I
Oh
did
yeah,
both.
you did both.
Yep.
Wow. We start talking and holy cow, I'm not paying attention. Hey, it's all about the music. All right. So my number 6, I'm going right down the list. I'm going to go with Girls with Guns.
Okay.
Hey, this didn't do too bad on the charts. Got to number 50 at least. I thought Tommy Shaw would have been bigger. Lonely School was one of the singles. It got to 60 on the charts. Okay, that's pretty good. Um, and like I said, Girls with Guns got on the charts, got to number 50. Not too bad. We've got Mike Stone as the producer on here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny because these two records damn near sound the same. I don't know. And then, I was talking about on how What If it was basically the same band that's on here. So you've got Steve Hawley that played in Wings. Brian Stanley would go on to play with Jules Shear. But there's a lot of different people that have pretty good pedigrees, of good players, a good band. So it's nice to see that, they stuck with Tommy for a couple of albums. But I think this record, and kind of like we talked about, this was made for MTV. This was made for A&M to push Tommy out there and get ahead. Did you ever see the video to Girls with Guns? You know exactly what I'm talking about. This was to get Tommy out there. They thought they could mold him into something, do something. It has to be. I don't know what else it could be. Um, but I wrote on my notes, this is MTV Pop. This is made for MTV. Everything on this record is overblown.
Oh yeah.
Everything's all hyped up. It's very hyper sounding. Um, Tommy's wrote everything. Girls with Guns. Now, I wrote on my notes, I said, not exactly what I would expect from Tommy after Kilroy. This is commercial pop, more commercial than anything on Kilroy. Catchy and bombastic. It is made for MTV. Hey, the next song, Come In Heavy, starts heavy, and I'm thinking there's some hope here. It's very glossy, bombastic. It's not bad, but it's not the Tommy Shaw from Styx. This is not even the Tommy Shaw from Kilroy was here. Um, Lonely School, ballad. I'm not sure. I wrote on here, I said, I'm not sure what all the bitching was about with Dennis DeYoung. This isn't that far off from Babe. Tommy sounds great, though. Maybe this deserves some Styx production. All in all, it's a good song, but it's not far off from Babe. I could keep going, and I get to Kiss Me Hello, and I'm going, where's the great songwriting that we expect from Tommy Shaw? Kiss Me Hello is Babe 2. It's a little bit proggy the way it starts out, but it's not. This is just a pop record
Yeah, that's all it
with
is.
with weak songwriting for the most part. Little Girl World, I'll add. That's Tommy's version of Mala Kintyre. Mala Kintyre, that's what this is like. Um, Free to Love You sounds like Asia off Astra. There. This is what it sounds like.
What did I tell you?
I wish I could get worked up. I hate to be negative, but Tommy, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So, all right, that's my number 6. Oh my God. I feel bad, but I have to be honest. I have to be honest.
You have to be, right? Yeah.
All right, my number 5. Things are looking better, ladies and gentlemen. Well, not totally better, but we're getting better.
Not yet.
But this is improvement, but not improvement over the other record. Now, Pete mentioned before that we are going to include Shaw Blades and we are going to include Damn Yankees. Okay, awesome. Tommy Shaw needs a band, ladies and gentlemen. Tommy Shaw needs a collaborator. Tommy Shaw needs someone to bounce stuff off of. When he got in Damn Yankees, it's like the clouds parted and the waves started to flow and all that stuff. But my number 5 is going to be Don't Tread from 1992. This is basically, okay. If you know anything about Damn Yankees, we had pretty much a group effort on the first record. This has got a lot more Ted influence. Now, maybe you like more Ted, maybe you don't. But it's got a lot more Ted influence, but Ted's not really singing on any of it. But you can tell a Ted Nugent song when you hear it. And I'm not saying that's negative. I don't think this is quite as good as the other record, but whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, that Damn Yankees did do a third album that was shelved. And the record company just looked at it and just said, no.
Some of those songs have kind of filtered out and appeared on other albums released by these guys and other in their normal bands and things like that. So, but yeah,
You would think, Pete, I'm trying not to be negative, but with the amount of talent in this band, these records should be out of this world. I mean, this is okay. It's not bad. Let me just say, let's look at the first track. Don't Tread on Me. Picks up right where Pile Driver left off. These records really sound very similar. This is a little bit more of a harder record than the other record. And there's a lot more Ted Nugent influence, which is fine. But Ted gets in these projects and starts taking over. This is probably why we don't have another Damn Yankees. Everybody's not saying that, but I'm saying it. I don't have any problem with Ted. I don't care about his political leanings. I don't care. I love Ted as a player, and he's fun to listen to. But I don't know. 15 Minutes of Fame. This sounds like Ted, but with Jack singing. Kind of a so-so song. It's okay. Where Are You Going Now? Nice ringing guitars, Jack Blades vocals with Tommy on backgrounds. That is the sweet spot. This is High Enough number 2. If you're
yeah,
familiar
it's
with High
a good
Enough,
song. Yeah.
big single off the first Damn Yankees record. This is High Enough number 2. Great track. It's great. Tommy and Jack Blades, their vocal blend is absolutely beautiful. Uh, this is a great track. This track kills. I love it. It's great. Songwriting's there. Everything's great. Dirty Dog, you can tell by the title, it's Ted Nugent, ladies and gentlemen. Total Ted, but with Tommy Shaw singing. Hey, it does rock. Get your hands in the air like you don't care, but it's an okay track. I could keep going. Mr. Please, it's okay. I will say this. On the second side, you get a little bit more acoustic based. Like Mr. Please, it's an acoustic track. But the guitar licks on this and the harmonies,
Really
this
good.
is like the shape of things to come. So get ready for what's coming in Tommy's world. Um, Silence is Broken is a great Tommy vocal. If you squint your eyes really hard, you might think this is a Stick song. Just squint, just like that. You might think it is. But I think you understand. This is better. Tommy works better in a group setting. And him and Jack Blades are wonderful together. I give you that. I think we just have a little bit too much of Ted influence here as
I mean,
a
yeah, because you got Uprising and This Side of Hell. I mean, those are totally dominated by Ted, and yeah, it's
yeah, this side of hell I wrote, my face just got ripped off. This is definitely a Ted song.
yeah,
But I expect that from Ted. But
yeah,
Damn Yankees, I think is a what makes them good about that first album is it's very balanced.
yeah.
No
I
one
think
particularly sticks out.
Yeah, my impression is that they spent a lot of time on the road after the first album, and I
Mhm.
think the label wanted another album very quickly thereafter. I think this album was just put together really, really quick. Whatever they had laying around, Ted's probably got piles of songs left and right, and they really didn't collaborate. They just basically this is
Yeah.
what we got, and they recorded
It
it.
sounds kind of pieced together.
Yeah,
Here, I've got a piece, you've got a piece. Let's combine these, see if it works.
yeah, it's still good, but it's not the
Right.
cohesive set that the first album is. I would agree with you there.
This was a bit of a letdown, but both albums do sound very similar.
Yeah, yeah.
I will give it that. So, but it's not bad. Like this record, but like we always say, these have to rank somewhere.
You gotta go somewhere. Yeah.
So there you go. That's my I forgot where I'm at.
Six,
That's
six
my
and
number.
five. Six and five. All right. I'm gonna disappoint Grant here. I
Oh
think.
God, here we go.
My number 6 is Hallucination, the David
Oh,
Blades album.
baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Help me. Really? Oh, I love
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think these guys sound great together,
it. Hmm.
vocally, right? I like this combination of these two, and I like both of these guys a lot. Um, this whole album is kind of really rootsy, acoustic
Hmm.
for me a little bit too much, and I find it kind of bland. There's some good stuff on here. Um, Title track is really good. Again, it's got that kind of like Americana thing going on, which this whole album kind of is. It's good, catchy hooks. I'll Always Be With You is a pop song. Again, rootsy acoustic, very well done. Come to Be My Friend, very similar. Don't Talk to Me Anymore. That's a great pop song. That's really
Classic.
good. I Stumble In is that's a good melodic rock song. I kind of wanted more of that on this album. I really like that one a lot. I don't like Blue Continental. Down That Highway is kind of country rock for me. How You Gonna Get Used to This? That reminds me a little bit of latter period Night Ranger. I don't mind that too
Hmm.
much. Nice vocal harmonies on I Can't Live Without You. I just find that this album for me is lacking energy. And it's a little bit more laid back than what I always wanted it to be, especially where they came from with these two albums. That's
I,
I don't think it's a terrible album, and I could totally
no,
see other people liking this a lot more, like you. I know you're a big fan. Um,
I just think that this is what these guys are.
and
This
I
is got much closer to Tommy's roots,
and
as
I
we
you're
find
probably
out.
right. It's just unfortunately not what I'm all about. That's the
That
problem for
that's
me.
fine. We
Yeah.
all hear this stuff differently, you know.
Yeah, but it's not terrible by any means. It's
Oh,
just that I wanted something else from this, and it's not quite that.
you know what, Pete? I've been wanting something ever since he left Styx. I've been waiting for it.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
yeah.
But there's some of the stuff that comes pretty close, kind of. Yeah, some
That's my
degree.
number six.
Yeah.
My number five is oh, where is it? Hold on. Ambition.
Oh,
Third album. Yeah. Everything that you said, I think honestly, this could have been a killer album. The production values ruin it for me. Again, back to this whole horrible drum sounds, way too many synths, way too many ballads. I think there are a couple of pretty good songs on here. Like, I think No Such Thing is a really good song. It's just so slick though, but man, it's like at least it rocks. And that's like, I want more of that. But man, right after that song, it just falls off a freaking cliff. Dangerous Game.
hmm.
Jesus. It's like again, we keep harping on it, but I'm going to go back to it. It's like he wanted to break away from the pop stuff that Dennis wanted to do at the time, and he goes off and makes these albums that is no different. And I don't get it at all.
I don't get it either.
Nah, I mean, the title track is like slick and bland, and oh, there's a blazing guitar solo. Why can't we get more of that? Where's the rhythm guitars? Where's the riffs? There's just like it's very vocals synths oriented. This whole album, Somewhere in the Night. I mean, he sounds great on it, but it's just so damn sappy. The Outsider. Again, this I think every one of these albums has one song that really is what I want to hear. That's a great 80s melodic hard rock song. Why can't we get more of that?
You know what I thought The Outsider sounded like? I didn't mention it. It kind of sounds like something off of Aldo Nova's Subject album to me.
Which is fine, right? I mean, that's I don't
But
it's
I love Aldo Nova, so
yeah.
that's cool. But yes,
Yeah.
it rocks.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of this album I like, and a huge parts of it I just don't like a lot. It's just so damn overproduced. I think, if we were to take all these 80s albums from Tommy and pick out the best tracks and put them all together, you probably have a pretty decent and remix them, you probably got a pretty good album there.
Strip
But
all
on
the
their own,
slickness
it's
off.
just, yeah, they're just so slick and just like disappointing.
Pete,
Um,
wait a minute. I'm going to doubt you, but the way you just presented ambition and you put hallucination's got songs. Come on.
but again, I don't like the way they're presented either. I have a lot of
Okay.
issues with the production of all these albums. I think the Shaw Blades album probably has better songwriting, but it's
Mhm.
just way too laid back for me. I don't know. I could switch them out at any time. I get what you're saying. Um, and would I listen to this over that album? I don't know.
It just seems like you were harder on ambition than you were on hallucination. That's
I
just
think
me looking at
Yeah,
this
it could be. I
standard.
think maybe the stuff that I like on Ambition, which is not a lot, I probably like more than anything on the Shaw Blades album. That could be what it
Okay.
is. I don't know.
Well,
It's yeah, but I have issues with both of them. They're neither one is really my cup of tea. That's kind of what I'm getting to. But yeah.
that's perfect. I love it. Well, I don't love it, but at least we're honest on this damn show.
Well, we gotta be, right? We gotta
Because you have no credibility. Yeah.
be. All right, so 4 and 3. Let's move on to that.
Okay. Boy, why do I think you're going to really rate these albums really high? I don't know, but I just have a feeling. My number four, I'm going to go Damn Yankees from 1990. This is arena rock. This is like the last arena rock album on the planet. Well, Don't Tread really is. Don't Tread, it was too late in the game by then, but still, 1990, you could still get away with something like this. This album starts out with Coming of Age, and I keep mentioning this, but the vocal blend of Tommy and Jack Blades is just magic. And this is what a great opener. This is catchier. Coming of Age is catchier than anything that Tommy's even done in the 80s. The 90s, Tommy's ready to go now.
Yeah.
And the tracks on the first record here, there's a lot of great stuff. Bad Reputation. Nice to see Mr. Shaw rocking out again. And this track rocks. This is more like it. Not the best chorus that I've ever heard, but Tommy rocking hard. I'm in. Runaway. Well, I'll have to be honest. That doesn't sound much different than anything that was on Ambition, but it is better. High Enough. Oh my God.
Yeah, great song.
Some of you purists out there might hate this and go, what are they doing? But great track. Love the strings. This could have fit on a Night Ranger album, for God's sakes, from that period. But those harmonies absolutely kill. I never get tired of it. Get out your lighters, everybody. I mean, it's a great track. And here we go. Damn Yankees, the title track. I want to mention that I love the riff here. Where has Tommy Shaw been? Where's he been?
Not doing this kind of stuff.
God,
he needed these guys around him to do this sort of thing, right? I mean,
he works best in a band.
yeah, yeah.
But I love it. I love it. Look at this. Come Again. Okay, now we have a good Tommy Shaw ballad. This is a great ballad. This beats any ballad that he's done on anything since the 80s. I'm sold. I am sold. Mystified, I feel like I'm going back in the Bayou. I don't know. That's okay. It's all right. Rock City is Jack Blade's track. That's okay. But I think side two kind of craps out a bit towards the end. Tell Me What You Want. I think again, Tommy has never pulled a bad performance vocally. And I think he sounds great on this track. And I actually kind of like this song. Pile Driver doesn't fit with the rest of the record.
No, that's a full on Ted Melter right there. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Yeah, they had to throw it in there, but yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Yeah,
kind of bizarre, but that's okay. But hey, I'm down. I like this record quite a bit. Hey, Tommy's back as far as I'm concerned.
Did you get to see him on this tour by any chance?
No.
Yeah, I saw him with Bad Company, and they blew Bad Company off the stage. They were really good.
I saw Styx later at the Marion Popcorn Festival, and I saw him on the Cornerstone tour.
Oh wow! I tried to go get tickets for that. My dad was going to take me to that because
my parents took me and my friend.
Really?
Oh, it was great. We went down
to
the
New Jersey show sold out really quickly, and dad couldn't get tickets, but I really wanted to go.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, that must have been great. That must have been great. They were at that peak form then.
Still. And it was the Michael Stanley band who opened.
Oh wow, yeah, opened up for everybody back in the day. Yeah,
yeah, they were big, But hey, great show, and me being at 13 or whatever, I'm sitting there like in a coma, because way it is, Pete, when you're a kid like that, and all this is fresh, shiny, and new, and you're taking all this music in, you never listen to this stuff like you did when you were that age.
No.
You remember? I remember. I know we're on a tangent. I'm sorry. We're going to run late. I can't help it. But you remember back in the day, I would read like Rolling Stone, or I would look for any kind of information. Pieces of Eight came out, and they start talking about a new Styx album's coming out. And you remember you'd read something about it, in Cream or
no internet, right? So you had to, when is it coming out? Like, what stores are going to be in? Yeah,
it's the only way. But you felt like this is an event. The new Styx album's coming out.
Yeah.
And I miss all that now.
Well, because you had like your bands that you followed, and when a new record came out, it was an event. Now there's like, 500 albums coming out a week, and it's just like you're just like, all right, like you just can't keep up with it all. Back then it was different, and
but it was magical.
It was magical, and when you got that new album, how much time did you spend with it?
All the time, constant, because you've had the build up.
Yeah,
and it's going to be. I played Cornerstone, well, Pieces of Eight. Like I said, my gateway drug was Grand Illusion. Then I got Pieces of Eight, blah, blah, blah. And it just kept going from there. And it was like
Yeah.
an event.
Yeah.
And boy, that was a tangent. Now I don't even know what we're talking about.
I think we're talking about your number three, or
Oh,
soon
my
to
number
be.
three. Okay. I told you, everyone, I'm all worked up on this. I like this. Okay. This is where we had a problem. And I think okay, I don't know what my number one. Okay. I'm going to switch things up a bit because I think you did have a lot of good points. My number three, I'm going to go with The Great Divide.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I've kind of already talked about it. There's tons of great playing. There's tons of great players on here. I think this is what we're getting here is pure Tommy Shaw. This is his roots. He loves this stuff. He can play the hell out of a dobro. He can play the hell out of a mandolin. Like I said, he can play anything. And that's what I think James Young might have said that back in the day. You get in the studio and Tommy could play anything you threw at him. He's brilliant. But you've got a lot of great players on here in the uh um shit, what was I gonna say? What is this? Bluegrass.
Bluegrass.
And the people that are in this community, I have no idea who they are because I don't listen to bluegrass. I'll put it at three because I think this is really his passion. And I think there's tons of great playing. If you look at it as a guitar player or you look at it as a fiddle player, I think there's a lot. I think the production's good. The vocals, Tommy, look at Tommy. What year did you say this was?
11.
2011?
Yeah.
Tommy sounds great. He
Yeah.
has not lost anything. The songwriting's good. Yeah, yeah, it's bluegrass. But man, you feel that Tommy's right in that pocket and he loves it. Got Alison Krauss singing vocals on here. I don't have to go through it's bluegrass, ladies and gentlemen, with vocals. You may like it, you may not, but I think I like it because I can feel Tommy's passion for this music and he's really into it. And, and it's not all commercial sounding. The production's great. There's no freaking gated drums on here. So I'm in. It sounds very natural. Um, sorry, didn't do much better on the charts. I probably got no push at all.
Yeah.
But I think really as a Tommy Shaw record, this represents Tommy Shaw. Whether you like the rocking stuff or this stuff, he can play anything. So I admire it for that. So I'm going to go with my number three for that.
So it's just interesting how he does that album, and then like what 5 or 6 years later, we get the first new Styx album in a long time, and it's a whole progressive rock opus that he wrote the whole thing, right? So it's like he's like such a guy of like so many different passions and interests.
And I was going to mention that. We should mention that, Pete, because if anybody wants to write off Styx as has-beens or a legacy band that has nothing to offer, you have to check out the Mission. You have to check out what is it, the Crown? What's
Crash of the Crown?
Crash of the Crown.
Yep.
Both are prog albums.
Yeah.
Styx is back doing prog, and those records are absolutely wonderful. And
if you want more in-depth conversation of this, exactly what Grant is talking about, please don't miss out on an episode we did a couple weeks ago with Brendan Snyder and Scott Lade, talking specifically about Styx and those two albums and a bunch of other bands who are also doing very cool late period proggy stuff. So yeah,
because Crash of the Crown was what, 2021, and the Mission's 2017. Both of those records were my albums of the year because strong.
Yeah, they were both the top. I don't remember. I don't think they were both top three for me. I don't know. One or the other might have gotten
Kansas.
Mission might have been number one. I don't remember, but they were both amazing. And
for
me, easily the best albums they've done since Cornerstone.
But that same time the Mission came out, Kansas also had that album that came out that is like every bit as good as anything Kansas had ever done in the past.
Yeah.
They're doing brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Some of these legacy bands are hitting it out of the park. So I know I'm on a tangent, but please go check out the last two Styx albums. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah. I hope we get another one from them sometime soon.
We're due 2021. Come on, boys. Let's go.
Yeah. I have to look that up, see if there's any rumblings about them recording or writing new songs. That'd be kind of cool. All right. My number four is Girls with Guns. 1984. Ba, 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 ba. I will say, that title track is cheesy synth pop fun. It's so damn catchy. What they were thinking, I don't know, but it's a really, I should hate it, but I don't. Come in and explain. Good hard rocker, loads of hooks, got some guitars, lots of synths. Tommy sounds great. Lonely School is terrible. Kiss Me Hello. I mean, the vocal layers are well done, but it's just so syrupy, slick. Fading Away. It's cool. Little Girl World. That's awful. Can't stand that at all. Outside in the Rain is a really good track. Really good
Mm.
track. I just wish the guitars were cranked up a little bit more. I think for me, this out of all these 80s albums that we're kind of shitting on a bit, I think his best songs are on this one to me. Even though it's just like kind of syrupy 80s pop AOR, whatever the hell you want to call it. Free to Love You, again, good song. Just wish it rocked a little bit more. The harmonies are there. It's got a darker tone, but it's presented so saccharine. The chorus is great though. And then The Race Is On. Big catchy chorus and saxophone, which I like saxophone, but I want to hear Tommy Shaw play guitar solos a little bit, right?
Mhm.
I think this album, if it had more oomph, it wasn't so overproduced. I think this is the best album of his 80s albums to me, because I think the songs are there.
Well, I agree because I rated this the best of his 80s albums.
Yeah, I mean, it is, right? It is by default, but it's got the best songs. It's just,
Default.
man, I just wish it was produced differently, because I think this could have been a really good rockin' album, and it's just really not. So that's my number four. My number
I'm,
three is
yeah.
Seven Deadly Zens from 1998.
Oh, I just dropped it.
Oh, okay. Fourth album, tons of guest stars. This album came out with no fanfare whatsoever. In fact, I didn't even know that this album it was ever released till like maybe 10 years after it came out.
Oh, I was right on it when it came out.
Yeah, no, I didn't even remember. It's on a small little label, right? It just got no promotion whatsoever. But here you got some leftover stuff from Damn Yankees. You got Nugent's on like
Petty.
one or two songs, and
Oh.
Jack's on a couple songs. Alison Krauss is on here. I
Mhm.
mean, all sorts of stuff. I think for me, this probably is the album that should have the most interest or variety for people to check out, because I'm sure, because this was such a low profile release, I think there's some really interesting stuff on here, but it's a long album. Maybe it suffers because there's too much variety on here, but there's some really good tracks on here.
Mhm.
Stop Knocking. It's like the Beatles meet Styx. You got All in How You Say It. Great pop song. What Do You Want from My Life? Great chorus. Groovy song. In This Night, big rocker. Half of Mind is kind of like a folky thing. He does that with Alison Krauss. Diamond, it's got these surf influences, whatever. Ocean's a really good rocker. You got Nugent and Tommy Doolin on that. Inspiration, kind of all over the place, but pretty good. Down the Ground is kind of bluesy. There's some blues stuff on this album too. Place to Call My Own, I don't really dig that too much. I don't know. For me, I think there's some really good stuff on here. It's just all over the place. I mean, we've come down on some of these other albums as being too kind of weirdly focused on something that is really not what he should be doing. Here, he's like putting his foot in a little bit of everything, which I think is a good thing. But maybe for some people, because it's so varied, it might be a little bit of a turnoff. But a lot of people on here, a lot of different styles. You get Tommy wearing all his different hats. I got to give him kudos for that. So that's why this one's got to rank up pretty high for me. So that's my number three.
Excellent. Cool.
Seven Deadly Sins.
All right.
Top
All
two.
right. All right. My top two. Well, funny. We'll just pick up where you left off. I'm going to go with Seven Deadly Sins. I like this record. I think this is the best solo Tommy Shaw album he's ever done.
I would agree.
The song, first of all, we've left the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. This
Yeah,
does not sound, no
done.
dated drums. This doesn't sound dated. Tommy's delivered us a great set of songs. He still sounds,
Is there even any synths on that album? I don't
I hear
remember much of
guitars
it.
on it.
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't,
a little piano or organ here and there, but yeah, it is.
but not anything that's like fake. You know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no.
Ocean continues rocking out where Shaw, kind of like a continuation of Shaw Blades to some degree. I hear I do hear some Shaw Blades on here.
You do.
Um, Stop Knocking, great chorus, great songwriting, catchy, catchy, catchy. It's like if you sprinkle a little bit of 60s on top, it's got a little hint of the 60s. You got chorused guitars on here, which I find kind of odd, but that's all right. I hear a lot of strats on this record too. This is kind of like a blend of Damn Yankees and Shaw Blades. Um, all in how you say it, you get a little bit of backwards guitar. I think that's backward guitar. I never played it the other way, but it sounds like backwards guitar. Kind of 60s like. It's cool. What you do, what do you want from life? Get a little reggae,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
a little bit. But you got guitar on this record, so I applaud
Yes.
Mr.
There's
Shaw. We
plenty
would
of it.
speak
Yeah.
for this.
Sure.
Um, in this night, Tommy's rocking out. Half of mine, Alison Krauss doing the guest vocals on here. Vocal blends great. Actually, Tommy, this is kind of leading up to the next thing. You've got fiddle. It's an absolutely beautiful track. And Alison Krauss and Tommy Shaw blending their voices is like a little slice of heaven. But this is kind of like a leading up to the bluegrass thing. So, here's where Alison Krauss started to come on. Straight down the line. Now, what's the story on this? Is that a leftover from Shaw Blades? Or was this something that they just collaborated on? Because
I
it
mean,
it could,
Jack's got a co-write on it, so I don't really know. I had read that that some of this stuff was germinating during the latter stages of Damn Yankees, but I don't know.
okay, but I like it, and I wrote on my notes. I said, "Please, gentlemen, please do something else. It's been too long, God." Because I love it. I do want to mention since we're talking guitar, and then we'll move on because I know I'm doing a lot of yapping. Who am I? The song. Tommy Shaw's lead on this track is killer. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear Tommy wailing on guitar because he is one of my favorite players. And the guitar tone on here kills. And that's one thing about Tommy Shaw's his guitar tone, when he's really wailing on it, sends chills right up my spine.
He's a great player. He's
He's
a
a
great
great player. But anyway, there you go. You get the idea. So that is my number 3.
two.
I mean, number 2. God, I can't keep track. I seem to have a lot of problems on your show keeping
I'm
track.
usually, I'm usually terrible at that because when I do my Friday shows with Martin, I can never keep. Well, we're usually doing these,
Yeah,
18 hours. I can never keep track.
but
But this,
we're rapping, we're keeping it real,
yeah,
so to speak. All right, my number 1. I love this record. I freaking think it's brilliant. Shaw Blades Hallucination came out in 1999. Yeah, there's not much guitar. Yeah, it's kind of Americana. Is it like a long lost John Mellencamp record? Kinda.
kind of, yeah, kind of is.
This is like if you take, okay, to give you an idea of what this is. If you take the Damn Yankees and put a filter, you pour Damn Yankees in a filter and let it filter out, you get Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades,
You got
which
to filter out Ted and Michael, right?
you filter out all that other excess. This is what it is because it sounds like Damn Yankees light. Let's be honest. It's if you take all the balls and everything
Vocal
out of,
harmonies are unmistakable, right? I mean, these two guys together make some magic. I mean, if they do,
right.
those two voices together.
But you mentioned the whole John Mellencamp thing, and Don Guillaume is the producer, John Mellencamp's producer. But the thing is about this, I can tell that these guys are passionate about this. They love this stuff. Look at we didn't talk about it, but they ended up doing a covers album called Influence, and they opened up with Seals and Crofts.
Yeah.
We do need to touch on that before we wrap this up. But they like this stuff. I get it. This is country rock, but it's great songwriting. The vocals on here kill. And like I said, goodbye 80s. This could have been released yesterday. And the thing I like about this is that the sequencing is top notch. Everything flows well. I love it. I love it. My Hallucination, great vocal interplay. The melody is catchy. You've got both electric and acoustic guitars that kind of swirl around the track. I like it. I'll always be with you. I wrote on here, I said, could this be Mellencamp? But I'm going to say Tommy Shaw kills on this track. Tommy has never sounded better to me than he does on this album. Um, Come to Be My Friend. I keep waiting for Steven Tyler to pop on and sing some blues in that intro, but he never does. But it's still a damn good song, catchy chorus. I am in, I am hooked. This isn't heavy, hard rock, Tommy Shaw, but when it comes down to it, you've got to have great production, great songs, great vocals. I'm down. Don't Talk to Me Anymore. The best song on the record. This is as good as anything off the first Damn Yankees album. This song, I play it and it gives me chills. When Tommy and Jack do that vocal blend, I have chills. It's that good, that emotional.
Grant's
I'm
all in. He's all in.
all in. Stumble in, we rock it up a bit, little country, great songwriting. I'm down. I agree with you. Blue Continental, best thing here are the harmonies, but I'm not that hip on that track so much. And Down That Highway isn't so far away from what's coming from Tommy. We're getting in that bluegrass lane. So, the signs are there, it's in his bloodstream. Uh, I think we've kind of said it. The Night Goes On, classic Tommy Shaw acoustic number, beautiful, kind of like a 1995 Boat on the River. I'm down, kinda, not really, but you get the idea. I love this record. Is it to the level of anything that's ever been done on a Styx record from Tommy? I would say probably not, but it's damn good. I still have not gotten Tommy. I still haven't gotten what I want from Tommy yet. I'm still
Not
waiting
yet.
for that record. But I like this record. And, this is a Shaw Blades record, to be honest.
I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done another studio album of all original material because that came out a long time ago.
Yeah, 95.
I
And
mean, the covers thing, it's like, because that came out right around the same time that because Styx did the covers album too, and it's just like
back
everybody
and forth, back
everybody
and
does
forth.
these. Oh, we need to put an album out. We'll just do covers. It's like it's kind of like the
But everybody
we'll say
kind
the
of
Shaw
thought,
Blades covers album. It's well done for what it is. This they just
oh, I think their version of Seals, well, that might be making an appearance next weekend. Their version of, because I say that fits right in. And their harmonies. But the thing is that, to be quite honest, the reviews for their covers album really, critics gave it a pretty damn good review.
yeah they did. Yeah, they
They
did.
did a phenomenal job on it.
Yeah, they picked some good songs too,
They
which
picked some good
perfectly
songs.
matched up to how they sing and what they like and all that kind of stuff. And that's the important thing.
It's
So
fun.
yeah,
Not anything, serious, but
yeah.
it's fun.
All right. My number 2 and 1. Obviously, everybody knows what they are, right? Don't Tread, number 2. For me, Damn Yankees is a supergroup that worked because
Mhm.
they don't all, right? Or they work for maybe an album and then they kind of peter out. And granted, even though this isn't as good as the debut, I still like this a lot. I just think these guys work together. And I think seeing them live really made me appreciate this band more than maybe if I didn't. But I think it's Tommy fitting into a new band of guys that he knows, right? That all kind of needed something to do around this time, right? But it
Yeah.
worked. I mean, title track is great. I love 15 Minutes of Fame. Where Are You Going Now? Terrific ballad. I don't mind the Rock and Ted stuff on here, like Dirty Dog and Uprising, and Mr. Please is cool. Silence is Broken is gorgeous. I like it. It's not as start to finish strong as the debut, but I still think it's really good. And I always wish they would have released that third
I
album.
have a question though,
Yeah.
and a comment. But think about Ted Nugent's career. This is a blessing for Ted. Ted wasn't selling any records now. No one cared about Ted.
No.
I love Ted. I'm not trying to dog him, but it was just of that time. You got Jack Blades is off a Night Ranger, nothing to do.
Yeah, this
Tommy's
was 92. So I mean, Ted's like latter half of this 80s albums we're all. I'm not a really big fan of those. Like, you know,
I think Martin loves all those.
yeah, Martin likes those a lot. I mean, we did it. He and I did a show on them not too long ago. We talked about them. Little Miss Dangerously, and some of those
That's
records.
pretty commercial. That's every
It's
bit as
really
commercial
commercial.
as
This
Girls with Guns, kind of.
Penetrator. I mean, they're okay, but it's just like you're right. He was by that point in time. Ted's not doing big business, and the first Damn Yankees album did pretty well. Would that go gold or platinum?
Yeah,
Even?
I think it went platinum.
Yeah, and so he after these guys split up. I mean, he went back to doing solo records, and those '90s albums they're okay that he did, right? Tommy goes back to Styx, and Night Ranger gets back together, and I would argue that probably Ted probably was the least successful as far as album sales, going back and doing his thing. Although Night Ranger were struggling a little bit too, but
Yeah, but
the Reunion Styx album did very well.
but we looked at those Night Ranger albums. Holy crap, those albums on Frontier, ladies and gentlemen. Check them out if you didn't see our
Yeah, they're
show on
quite good.
Night
Yeah,
Ranger. God
they're quite
darn,
good.
those are good records.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so real quick, I'm sorry, I gotta ask. Do you think when you listen to the second Damn Yankees record, now like I made the comment, well, this is obviously a Ted Nugent song, but Tommy's singing it, or this is a Ted song with Jack singing it. Do you think it would have been? Would you have liked to have seen Ted actually sing those Ted tracks? No. Okay.
I am not an enormous fan of Ted's vocals.
Okay.
I don't mind Ted used sparingly. Like that's why, like on the debut, which is my number one, like Pile Driver, I'm okay with it because he's singing one song.
Right.
My favorite Ted Nugent albums are the ones with Derek St. Holmes on vocals
Okay.
because I think that Ted is a great guitar player. I can deal with Ted singing one or two songs per album. I don't necessarily like to hear Ted Nugent start to finish singing. I'm not as big a fan of his vocal style. Uh, to want to hear him on a whole album. So I'm perfectly okay with him contributing songs that Tommy and Jack sing. I'm perfectly fine with that
All
because
right.
it gives
I
those
was
guys.
just curious.
Yeah, no, I'm not an enormous fan of Ted's vocals. I never have been. In small doses, he's fine, but there are some albums for me, because especially on some of the latter Ted albums, he's got this, he's older, he's still
Mhm.
singing in this kind of talky, jokey, rappy type of thing that he does, where he's just like spewing stuff out.
Mhm.
I can't deal with a whole album of that. I really
Okay.
can't.
Yeah, I
Um,
was just curious.
he's one of those guys. It's like the old Frank Zappa statement, right? Shut up and play your guitar. That's me with Ted Nugent to a T. It's
God,
like,
but
all
what a
right,
great player. I
yeah.
saw Ted like a couple of summers ago. Played
I
through
haven't
Columbus.
caught him in recent years. I heard he still puts on.
He is just as good as he always has been.
Yeah, yeah,
He is, as a guitar player, we're going on a tangent. His guitar tone, wonderful. He is so fluid
yeah.
as a player, and he is really so good at his craft that when he plays all of those licks, it's just seamless. It's like he doesn't even have to be, it just flows out of him.
Yeah.
He's one of those few guys that the guitar just is like part of his body.
I would like to hear him again. We're going to continue on the tangent, but this is not about Ted Nugent. But
Well, yeah, it is kind of a little bit.
yeah. But I've always wanted to hear an instrumental album from Mr. Nugent, where
Mm.
he's doing more kind of like bluesy, jazzy type
He could play all
things.
that.
Yeah, no singing, no stupid infantile lyrics, none of that. No need for gonzo heavy metal. I don't, not that I dislike
No
that.
shtick,
No shtick,
just
no nothing. Just Ted playing 40 minutes, all instrumental guitar stuff because
and I would
he
be down
drops
for
in
that.
this beautiful stuff from time to time that I'm like, oh, I would love to hear a whole album of that or that kind of stretched out a little bit more because I
But
think he's
him,
got it in him. I really
but
do.
him live when I saw him, it was one tasty lick after
After
another.
another, right? Oh, he's great.
And you sit there and you're just in awe of his ability.
Yeah,
And he was like that. You go on YouTube and watch those early Amboy Dukes, like from 1971 or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Still, it just flowed out of him when he was young like that.
yeah.
He's an amazing player. I don't care what you think about him politically and all that, but as a musician and his guitar playing ability, that's why he's doing all the solos on the Damn Yankee stuff because, Tommy's going, it's Ted Nugent,
Yeah, yeah.
though I
But that being
me
said,
better,
it's like
but.
that, Tommy has been playing next to a guy named James Young for many, many, many years. And James Young is that flashy kind of like, doing all the crazy stuff. But I think Tommy's more reserved, melodic style fits in perfectly alongside the explosiveness of James Young. That's
Mhm.
why it's like when I saw them live, he played a lot of solos live. They did a lot of trading off and stuff. But I think on he kind of defers to Ted a lot on the records. But Tommy shouldn't have to defer to anybody.
No,
He is an
right.
amazing guitar player. He's just different. He's not that big, explosive, crazy rock god
Eh,
kind of guy, right?
His solos are all well thought out, much like
Yes.
Elliot Easton has his solos all thought
Yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah,
who is also a brilliant player.
yep,
But Tommy's, I don't know if he's such a guy that just gonna start, shredding.
yeah,
Everything's all worked out for Tommy, but it's tasty, melodic, and his tone just kills. I know I've said that before, but
yeah.
it's
Well,
true.
very true. Very true.
Sorry, everybody.
That's okay. All right. So real quick, I'll wrap it up with my number one, which is Damn Yankees. Yeah, I love this album. I every time I listen to it,
That's a good record.
it takes me back to God. I remember I was just started working in New York City, fresh out of college, 1990, my first big job, and then this album came out. This was like the album of that year for me. I mean, we listened to this a lot. I worked with a guy, Grant Arthur, who's probably a bigger Tommy Shaw fan than you or I. And every
I'll be
time I
darned.
saw him, he'd be like, so what do you think of Tommy Shaw? Huh? I'm like, didn't we just talk about Tommy Shaw yesterday? And all he talked about was Tommy Shaw. We used to make fun of
Wow.
him. Oh yeah, he just talked about Tommy Shaw all the time. My buddy Steve, who I work with, who I still talk to quite a bit. Every now and then, this guy's name comes up, and we're like, "Oh yeah, the Tommy Shaw guy." I'm like, "Yep, exactly." But anyway, great songs, great collaboration. Here's where it all gelled together for all these guys, and I think this is how you do a super group, at least for one album, right? Although I think that the second album is damn good too. But
Sure.
yeah, Bad Reputation. The title track, "Damn Yankees," great song.
It's great.
Great song, coming of age, high enough. Yeah, it's all really good. That's easily my favorite of all these. But like I said, as far as Tommy solo stuff, we got some crap. We
Mm.
got some good songs splintered here and there. We got a very good later period rock and all sorts of other things album, and then you got the weird bluegrass album. So I don't know. Be curious to see what the viewers think down
I
below.
would like to know what they think.
Yeah,
Because our both of our rankings were kind of all over the place.
yeah, all over the
I'm
place.
surprised you rated Ambition so high, but that's okay. We all hear it differently, but it's just so.
Yeah. Well, I didn't rate it high because I liked it. What did I rate it? Five? I think I rated number five.
But
Yeah.
I still have to rate Hallucination higher than Ambition. I'm just giving you crap. That's
You
all.
want to hold up the covers album before we let everybody go?
Oh, well, I would if I
Oh, you didn't
I
have
don't
it?
have it.
Okay.
I don't have it here.
But yeah,
You
but it's
have
worth
to.
a listen because here you have these two guys who are like singing songs that they grew up with that they really love, and there's a good blending of tracks on
Oh,
there, and it's
I do have it.
oh
I
there you
love.
go. Yeah, you want to just read through the track listing because there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah, there you go. Look at
Yeah.
that. Well, hopefully I can see it. Oh, you're gonna make me put glasses on. Damn. Okay. What we've got: Summer Breeze,
Whoa.
Time of the Season, which is the Zombies,
Yeah.
Your Move by Yes, I Am a Rock by well, obviously Simon and Garfunkel, Lucky Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They'd like a lot of Simon and Garfunkel on here. They do a version of Sound of Silence. They do Mamas and the Papas with California Dreamin', On a Carousel, which is the Hollies, Dirty Work. Is that
Steal
that's
again.
the no.
No.
Written by Barry Gibb, and it's Dirty Work.
Oh,
I
I thought
don't know.
that what
That
they did
doesn't
is
seem
steal
right.
again song. Oh, that's an old Bee Gees song then.
I don't know. It says Barry Gibb. I don't know. I'm going to have to listen to this. I haven't listened to it for a while. For What It's Worth, which is Buffalo Springfield,
Yeah.
and they do a version of Dance with Me. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense for them, right? Because that's a great
But
smooth
this is
vocal harmony.
really a good, well, there's not much to show on the inside. Just
Yeah.
a lot of liner notes, but it was nice to see them do this. It's very good. It's very good. These guys together.
Yeah, maybe we'll see something else for them, you know. You
But
know what
there,
I would love to see? I would love to see a Styx Night Ranger tour. I gotta believe those guys have toured before those two bands, right?
I want to bring up something while we're I know we went long. Are you familiar with the band called The Hunt?
The Hunt, no.
Mhm. Canadian band. They put out 3 albums. Dan Gauscher in the chat. Grant, you got to hear The Hunt. You got to hear The Hunt. You've got to hear The Hunt. So I got The Hunt, and you might like The Hunt.
Really? I've never
I'm
heard of it.
trying to turn you on to something. They got 3 albums out. Yeah, Canadian. It's right up your alley.
And what year did that album come out in? Is that
This
like
is
a,
like 81,
oh, wow,
80.
okay.
Yeah. I haven't asked Martin about this,
He was got to know because he's
but
Mr.
everything that I'm giving him a shout out, is recommended for me to get into, like Riggs and The Hunt and all these different bands. He's never steered me wrong,
Okay.
but I
Send
would
me a message about that and I'll go check it out because I
right,
listen to hearing stuff.
The Hunt.
The Hunt. Yeah.
It's really good. You'd like
Okay.
it. You like Zebra? You like Zebra?
It's Abraham.
All right. Well, you probably like this.
Okay, cool.
So,
Sounds good.
all right.
Sounds good. All right. Before we let everybody go, what's going on over on YouTube channels coming up?
Well, what is coming up in the warehouse? God, I don't know what's coming up. I do know that we did a show. I did a show with Stephen Schnee that just went up, and we believe this. Believe this is goes back to your childhood when you were roller skating at the roller rink. We rated the albums of the Bay City Rollers, for God's
I
sakes.
did see something on Facebook about that. Yeah.
Now, I will say something. If you think that the Bay City Rollers are a bit of a joke, once Les quit, the original singer, they put out 3 albums, which are absolutely brilliant. They don't sound like the Bay City Rollers. These are power pop classics, worth checking out. I mean, that obviously was my top of the heap, but they kept going. They didn't sell any records, but they put out some really great stuff. And you look at the Bay City Rollers and kind of chuckle. They kind of got trapped into that teen idol thing. I get it, but they were really actually really wanted to really rock out. It's kind of like Sweet that got wrapped up into that bubblegum thing,
The
but
beginning. Yeah.
underneath you had a hard rock band
Oh yeah.
just trying to get out. Bay City Rollers are very similar to that. So we did a ranking of that. That was fun. And I don't know, there's more coming up. And, of course, we have the Wednesday chat on the Contrarians, but there's things coming out constantly
I
on
think you
both
and I are
channels.
going on a yacht trip sometime soon, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This not a week from Sunday.
A week from today, actually. Yeah.
Week. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, a week from today, Mr. Pardo will be in the warehouse. He is coming on and he has submitted his tracks. I have not put my tracks together yet, but we will be going live for 2 hours at Grants Rock Warehouse playing Yacht Rock. It'll be the traditional show where we play some tracks, talk about them, and the whole idea is that we both love this stuff. And let's throw this out. What songs do we like? What do we want to talk about? We want to hear from you in the chat. We will be live for 2 hours, so come on over and enjoy yourself and let us know what tracks you like and everything. We'll be hanging out. It's just going to be it's just all about the music.
What about
So
the music and a little chit chat, right?
and a
Talking
little
about
chit chat,
it's
just like a
it's as
radio
summer
station.
approaches here. We're talking about some summertime music, and yeah, we got a nice track list picked out. So
Oh, it's going to be a blast.
yeah,
But it'll be fun. All the players will be in the chat, so it'll be fun.
cool.
Marlon will be there, and I'm sure he will be.
Bitching
I
if
don't
we
know if
play
he'll
any
be
songs
there.
about saxophone or with saxophone.
Yeah. So hopefully Marlon can handle it.
There you go. Everybody likes a little bit of yacht rock, I think.
Oh,
Right?
it's great.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Cool. Yeah. Otherwise, what do we got coming up? In the Proxy Tuesday night. So that's what's happening this week. And Wednesday, new album review day. Friday, Martin Popoff comes back again. We got Ken Golden with the Professor's Picks. Saturday's the review crew with Jamie Laszlo and company. And then I will be ranking the albums of Angra with George Lamy, South American progressive / power metal band from Brazil. I think they're from Brazil. Yeah. And
I'm gonna go with Brazil.
next weekend. Yeah. So that's coming up next week. And visit us on the web, www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. And make sure you join Grant and I a week from tonight over on Grant's Rock Warehouse for a 2-hour yacht rock listening party. Till then, For Grant Arthur, I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for hanging with us in this very long Tommy Shaw
Holy
solo and
crap.
Damn Yankees and Shaw Blades ranking here, and rank them as you like them down in the comments below. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye
All
bye.
right.
Grant and
See you,
I'll be
everybody.
back in a few weeks with Nantucket. Don't forget.
Nantucket.
That's
Mark
right.
that down.
That's right. That's right.
Gary Joyce, get ready.
That's right. Get your listening in. See you all later. Take care. Bye bye.